allegory of Patanjali is the medicine man, holding in one hand, right, represented with the 1,000-headed serpent, which represents 1,000 thoughts channeled into single-pointed focus, ekagrata, concentration inside the body, interoceptive awareness, holding in one hand a conch shell that awakens us from the slumber of ignorance, and then the other the sword of discriminative wisdom, which kind of slices through that ignorance, through egoism, through the 5 kleshas, the 5 afflictions. Raga, which is desire or wanting, devesha, which is avoidance, and then abhinivesha, which is the fear of living fully. So with that understanding, right, this is the practice. It's just bringing that conscious awareness to what is showing up in the present moment. Let us notice the texture of our thoughts. Let us notice the internal narratives that we tell ourselves, right, as they reveal themselves. And let us notice the sensations in the body, so that we can then begin to create a little bit of space around all of that with the breath, and just notice, right, without reacting to it. So as we take this seat of experiential intelligence, see if you can drop that awareness, those 1,000 thoughts, into single pointed focus within the body, bringing awareness to the breath, to this movement of the breath, this rising and falling away of each moment's experiences. Just noticing, honing that capacity to turn in and be present with all that shows up, giving it some breath as a way of turning towards the stuff that shows up, notably sensation. Good. Noticing the thoughts that accompany the sensation. So we'll just ride the waves of each breath as we move through practice this morning, breathing in, exhaling out. Take the fingers to the floor. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently bow the head, chin to the throat. And we'll circle right ear to right shoulder, broadening that left collarbone, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder, broadening the right collarbone. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful. One more time each side. Good. The neck, the throat, right? The upper back, the base of the skull. So much tension here, right? This tends to be narrowed. It tightens very quickly, shortens, contracts, compresses. So we're just gently releasing. Once you bring the head to the right again, just lower the chin towards that right shoulder and look out the far right corners of your eyes, broadening that left collarbone. Breathing in, lifting through the side body. Good. Exhale, relax the eyes. Good. Tilt the ear to shoulder, chin to chest. Other side. So left ear to left shoulder. Now gently turn the chin to the shoulder and look out the far left corner of your eyes. Breathe in. Relax the jaw, the back and base of the tongue, the throat. Good. Relax the eyes, or just tap into the vagus nerve here. Good. Ear to shoulder, chin to chest. Beautiful. And let's bring the head back up. We're going to bring the arms out to the sides. Again, hollow the armpits. So pull the arms, plug those arms into the shoulder girdle, little circles. Just kind of mobilizing, integrating the shoulder joint and then mobilizing. Beautiful. Good. Take another deep breath in, lift and lengthen through the side body. Exhale, pause, and reverse the roll. Breathing in. Good. Breathing out. Take another deep breath in. Very nice. Exhale. And then very gently extend out and reach through the fingers. And gently release that right hand to the earth. Spin that left palm to the sky. Good. You can just take the left hand to shoulder or reach that left arm up towards the ear. Walk the right hand all the way out to the side. Good. See if you can just kind of release the hand to the earth. Keep the extension through that left side. You might lower the elbow a little bit, get a little bit more traction. And we're going to draw the rib cage in, back, and into the body and rotate Lifting the gaze up underneath that top arm. Again, you might have the hand on the shoulder. Watch this lower shoulder drop that right shoulder. Breathing in, just finding and feeling it a little bit of a side stretch. And then use that top arm in the in-breath to bring yourself all the way back up. Take a little twist over to that right side. Good. Left hand across the front of the body, or just take it over to the, same knee, opposite knee. Breathing in. Beautiful. Think of the tailbone, the base of the spine like a rudder, right? It guides the direction of the twist, but you're really engaging the abdominal muscles to feel into the rotation itself. Left shoulder rolling back. I always have to notice the shoulders because my left shoulder loves to come into the twist. And again, if you can, just turning the head. So we're bringing the rotation sort of up the channel of the spine. Good, rising up through the crown of the head. And again, you might look out the far right corners of your eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax the eyes. Good. Relax the gaze. Come back to center. And we're going to come into a little forward bend here. Just kind of walking the arms out in front of you. I'm going to bring this foot a little further forward just to kind of activate the hip a little bit. Breathing in, walk the hands out. So again, I'm going to angle a little bit. You're tipping the pelvis, right, away from the floor behind you so that you're not compressing the lumbar spine, right, as you reach forward, as you hinge forward. So trying to find that articulation around the head of the femur, right, the hip joints. Good. And again, this is where you get a little bit of a traction across that lower back. Take a deep breath in, lift the heart. Good. Gaze can fall off the tip of the nose. This will help to release any tension in the neck, but keep the heart rising and broaden through the collarbones. Breathe in. Good. Exhale. Navel to spine. We'll take a couple more breaths. You can come a little further if you want to. And something I've been playing around with a little bit is changing the position of my hands so that my thumbs are pointing straight ahead and my index fingers are pointing out to the sides a little bit. So you're making an L shape and an inverted L with your index and thumb. And then, so I'm doing this in downward dog, I'm doing this in high plank, low plank, those poses, right? Handstand, right? So it allows me to actually keep more breadth in the shoulders and really connect with this outer line of energy. So that's what I've been playing around with. You can experiment if you'd like to. Take another deep breath in. Good. Exhale. Men tend to have a very different kind of access to upper body strength than women, than the female anatomy. So again, just kind of working with this capacity to maybe create a little bit more breadth and a little bit more stabilization through the shoulders. Navel to spine, rib cage pulls in, walk the hands back in, really nice. And just kind of stretch the legs out for a second. Good, you can shake them out, bring them back in. And we're just gonna kind of lean back a little bit here, feel into the abdomen. So I'm gonna pick up the feet, just bring if you can, either the ball or the toes to the floor. And we're just gonna do some abdominal activation exercises with the breath. Inhale, good. So we're gonna bring the knees in. I'm just gonna cross the ankles and kind of evert the feet so the sole side of the foot comes towards you. You can even take the hands, watch the shoulders here, and keep the knees as close together as you can and pull in nice and tight. This is gonna give you a little back stretch. Good. So let's exhale. Inhale, I'm switching feet. Good. Exhale. Inhale. I want the breath to go into the back of the body, relax the shoulders. Good. Exhale, inhale. Mula Bandha, lift and engage the ceiling of the pelvic floor. Good. Exhale, draw into the belly, retract the ribs. 2 more times. Good. Each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last one. Good, and release. Very nice. So stretch those legs out. We're gonna switch the cross of the legs. So I'm gonna bring that left leg in front. So I started in half lotus. You can bring the left foot in front on top, or just the feet, one ankle stacked in front of the other. Good. We'll release the fingertips to the side again. Take a deep breath in. Good, and this time, if you'd like to, you can interlace the fingers, bring the hands behind the head, elbows draw in. And we're gonna inhale, think of lifting and drawing the elbows up, and then let the brain fall back. Good, gaze off the tip of the nose. Take a breath, inhale, bring the head back up. And this time we're gonna draw the chin to the throat, but the chest is rising to meet the chin, so you're finding length in your neck muscles. And see if you can really drop the shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Gaze off the nose. Notice if the hips are gripping. Inhale, bring the head back up. Exhale, chin to the throat. Good. Navel to spine, maybe gaze to the third eye. One more time. Inhale to center. Exhale. Gaze off the tip of the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. Relax the shoulders. Press the head into the hands. Gaze to the third eye. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the head back up. Good. Exhale. Release the arms. We're going to take the arms out to the sides again. Again, plug the arms into the shoulder joint. And just kind of circle out the wrists. I like to take the fingers into a very loose fist and just kind of curl the thumbs around the fingers. Good, keep going, but switch so that the thumb is tucked into the fingers and just notice the change in sensation. Good. So keep this position and we're going to reverse the direction of the roll. Good, you can keep the arms a little further down if that feels more appropriate for your shoulders. Good. Keep going. So we're now reversing the opposite direction. We're going to take the thumbs to the outside. Good, which helps to release the wrists a little bit. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in, extend way out to the side. We're going to take that side stretch. So again, right hand can come to right shoulder or alongside the temple, left arm to the floor. And I'm going to walk the hand out and just find that side stretch. So you're contracting, right? Not compressing, but contracting, right? Through the side, body left side, lengthening through the right side. Maybe, right, you lower that left elbow as long as it doesn't feel like you're compressing or squashing. Good. Lift the gaze. You're going to draw the navel, ribcage to spine, and rotate. Take another deep breath in. Find that length through the side body. And inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, release the hand. We're going to take a little twist over to the left. So again, hand can come to opposite knee or same knee. Breathe in. We're turning. Think of the tailbone as kind of directing the direction of the twist. Navel, ribcage, draw back so you're not pulling into the kidneys, and then find that rotation. Relax that right shoulder, drop it back, and then look over that left shoulder. Look out the left corners of your eyes. Breathe in. Exhale. Relax the eyes. Relax the twist. Come back to center. And then adjust your seat as necessary. We're going to come into that forward bend. So again, right, we're angling away from the floor and bringing the arms in front. Again, I'm trying to angling the fingers out at about a 45-degree angle to really hone this external connection between the triceps and the lats, right? Pulling the arms back into the shoulders, lats, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, the heart rising. Good. Exhale, the navel, the rib cage retracting. Gaze off the tip of the nose. Again, keeping the head above the heart rising. All of this supporting, right, that extension of the spine, that movement, right, of the sacrum away from the floor, a little bit of a stretch across the outer hips, lower back. Beautiful. I like to bring a little bit of movement. Again, as long as it feels safe to do so in the seat that you have taken. Breathe in. Exhale. Navel, ribcage retract. Walk the hands back in. Beautiful. Tip the pelvis back, and we're going to bring the feet to the floor again. Good. Take a deep breath in, and then with the exhalation of the breath, navel, ribcage, right? See if you can kind of contract, cinch the waist, and pull the navel and low ribs into the body, right? And then inhale, we're going to pull in. Again, you can use the arms if you'd like to. And exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Mula Bandh, breathing into the back, Uddiyana Bandh. Mula Bandh is the root lift, pelvic floor. Just helps put the mind deep into the body, right? Good. Inhale. Uddiyana Bandh is lower belly, lower ribs, kind of pulling in. A couple more times. I kind of lost track here. This is the pickup. And down. Beautiful. Let's bring the feet together here in Baddha Konasana. Good. And the knees are going to open up to the sides again. Bring the soles of the feet together if the hips are tight. And you can work with the block. Make sure it's not going to slide off the mat. But the block, the corner of the block is underneath the, again, outer corner of the knee and the thigh, the outer calf and the thigh. If the hips are a little bit more open, you can roll the ball of the foot, sole side of the foot up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. And we're going to lift the heart. So you can take the hands behind you if that feels more appropriate. Lift the heart, lengthen through the side body, invite the groins to fall, but the inner aspect of the spine, right, to rise, lift, expand without popping the rib cage, without pulling into the kidneys, into the lower back. And just start by moving the rib cage, if you can, side to side. It's going to get a little bit of a shift, so you start to notice any tension, sensation in the back area. Good. And then we're going to take this cat-cow, rolling the sacrum back, pelvis back, and then shifting onto the sits bones and shifting the sacrum forward, the pelvis forward. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt, right? So it's like a little cat-cow. Inhale. Sometimes the movement is really supple. Good. We're just going to go onto the sits bones and a little forward of the sits bones. Maybe the chin can drop towards the chest as the chest rises. And then inhale and exhale on the sits bones, and then back behind the sits bones. Let the head release a little bit as you round the back without compressing the spine. Forward of the sits bones, breathe in. Behind the sits bones, breathe out. 2 more times. Really just waking up the base of the spine. Good. And now let's circle. Yeah, just kind of rotate around the sits bones. See if you can get that tipping forward. Movement side to side. So we're shifting the weight from one sit bone. Good. Forward to the other sit bone. Back. Good. Sits bone. Good. And then reverse the roll. So nice and slowly, really just kind of feeling into the base of your spine. You got some movement through the hips here as well. Yeah. Good. When you do this slow and diligently, you can really kind of stay very present with each part of the movement. Notice the right side of the body, the left side, the right hip, the left hip. Good. And gently release back. Take a deep breath in. Let's come up to an upright position. We're going to bring the knees together. Very nice. And let's take this onto hands and knees. So I'm going to have a setup. Just starting in child's pose. Bring the toes together. Knees are just a little bit apart. And we'll lower the hips to heels again as needed. You could put a rolled up towel or a bolster across the Achilles, across the back of the ankles, so that it gives you a little bit of space behind the knees. Otherwise, press the heels together so they're not splaying, right? Pull those heels in together, and then you can walk the arms out in front of you. You can also stack the hands, resting the hands or the fists, resting the forehead on the top hand if the arms are outreached, outstretched. Good. I'm going to, again, direct the thumb is going to point forward, the fingers out a little bit, and just kind of play around with that if that feels appropriate. And we're going to take a few breaths, just kind of breathing into the back of the body. Good. It's still quite early over here, so I'm going to just kind of roll around a little bit. Get into the body. As you rock the hips, let your head roll as well so that you kind of get some movement sort of towards one temple than the other. Beautiful. And come back to center. Let's make our way onto hands and knees. And again, the thumb is kind of pointing forward. My index fingers are kind of pointing out towards the sides of the mat. Good. My hands are quite wide, so my thumb kind of lines up with the inner aspect of the upper arm and armpit. And we're going to take our cat-cow here. So take those feet a little bit wider than the hips so that the thighs, there's a little internal rotation of the thighs. Good. And then drop into, just kind of drop, keep the arms extended, but drop into the arms. So you kind of, you feel like you can feel like the shoulders are rising a little bit towards the ears. A little saddle back here, and stretch those hips or the groins back, stretch the sternum forward, and then lift out of the arms, finding your cow pose. Good. Take a deep breath in, and then with the exhalation of the breath, we're going to come into cat. So articulating the pelvis. Good. Lifting the navel, retracting the ribs. Exhale all the way. Pluck up on the arms. Good. Keep the head lifted so you're releasing the neck as you're rounding the back. Good. Inhale. Coming back into your cow pose. Draw the chin to the throat. Exhale. Inhale. Billow the back. Exhale, lift the head. You can gaze off the tip of the nose here. Relax the eyes. Inhale, saddle back. Lift out of the arms, chin to the throat. Exhale. We're going to do it one more time, each direction. So again, billowing the back, pull into the belly. Good, head is up, gaze off the nose, and then relax. This time head is drawing chin to the chest, head is down. And last one, breathe in, billow the back, exhale, pull into the belly, gaze off the nose. Come back to neutral spine, circle out the hips. Again, shifting the weight a little forward, a little back. Notice if this, again, position of the hands helps the wrists a little bit. It might not. So you play around. Again, my thumbs are pointing more or less in a forward direction. My fingers are turned out. My index is kind of lining up. My third, fourth little fingers are off the mat. Index fingers pointing right to the side of the mat. And reverse the roll. So you can circle out the hips, or you can just kind of, I'm just moving the whole body here. Back, forward, a little arm, a little weight in the arms. Good, taking the weight off the arms. And come back to center. Let's flex the toes. We're going to bring the knees together, bring the feet together, hook the big toes, and start to shift your hips back. So again, working with, this is Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose, working with the hands in a tripod position to support the weight of the body, to support the back, right? Especially if it's really hard to find flexion in the toes. You might be forward, right, on your forearms so that you don't have any pressure on the ball of the foot. We're just trying to get a little bit of flexion in the toes so we can get a stretch in the soles of the feet, right? If it's possible, walk the hands all the way up. Heel of the hand to your thighs, and we're going to drop the shoulders. Good, nice, lift the heart. Good, gaze off the tip of the nose. So the crown is reaching to the sky, gaze is falling towards the earth. Good, breathe in. Wherever you are, try to feel that breath expanding in a hyperdimensional fashion. Exhale the navel, the ribs back towards the spine. One more breath. And let's walk the hands forward. Good. Circle out the ankles. We'll take our downward facing dog. So flex your toes. Shift your weight back towards your hips. Drive down through the legs to take the sacrum to the sky. Good. And this is something I've started doing as well. Is just bring a little tiny flexion. Good. I'm a little bit of a bounce, but without the ballistic action, right, of jumping up and down off the floor. So keep the ball of the foot grounded, heels lifted, soft bend in the knees.
And just find that articulation in the joints, in the knee joints, right? Keeping the extension of the arms, just a little soft bounce, nice. Just kind of wakes up the muscles of the legs a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can inhale, lift the kneecaps, sacrum to the sky, and then pedal out the legs slowly. I like to do this really slowly to kind of, again, just work with, personally with my calf muscle, the one that I pulled, but also just again noticing, right, when you slow everything down, right, it's that slow it down, pause, breathe. Good. How do you want to respond to what's showing up? Good. And then we'll take a pause in the full expression of your downward facing dog. So that could be heels releasing to the earth. They might be a little bit up, right? You might be able to weight the heels a little bit, finding some length in the back of the leg, some lift in the front of the leg. Take a deep breath in, let the head fall, gaze back between the knees. Make sure you're not sinking through the shoulders. So again, the action of the arms, if I press into the ball of the hand towards the index finger, draw those elbows in and then pull up on the elbows and draw right back through the hips. I can feel the lat muscles engaging much more effectively than if my fingers are pointing forward. Take a deep breath in, full breath out, and we're going to shift the weight forward, coming into ragdoll pose. Inhale, gaze forward, heels rise. Exhale, bend the knees, hips back, good, and just start to step, walk. Saunter the feet up to the hands. You can work with blocks here, you can work with the chair, you can work with fingertips. Inhale, heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Good, let's take ragdoll pose where the navel slides towards the knees. Again, feel free to work with the chair where the head can rest on the chair. You can rest the forearms on the chair. You can rest the elbows on your thighs. Or take the opposite hand to elbows and release into ragdoll. You want to soft bend in the knees, but you also want to tip the pelvis forward so the spine is really hanging, right? You're not pulling the spine in one direction and the other. You want to feel like the spine can hang. You find some traction in the musculature of your back. And as I bind the elbows, the shoulders are going to release towards the ears to really, really release the back muscles, the spinal muscles. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. What can release when you exhale? Breathe in, step into the heels. Power that movement of energy up through the legs to the hips. Draw into the belly. Exhale down through the crown of your head. And we're going to rise all the way to standing. So drop the hips here. Hands to thighs, billow the back here, rooting through hands and feet. Good. Exhale, scoop the tailbone under. Walk the hands up the thighs, come to an upright position. Beautiful. Arms by your sides, inhale, reach high. Lift the gaze and exhale, gather consciousness, gather the mind, gather internal speech, and take the seat of experiential intelligence at the heart. Good, release the arms, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep high. Good. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Hands to the earth, to the chair, to the blocks. Beautiful, Uttanasana. So again, you might take the knees bent just to begin with, right? Inhale, half lift. Again, the hands can come to shin bones. Shins pressing forward into the hands, heart rise, and gaze off the nose. Good. Exhale, let's take we'll keep the right foot forward. Take that left leg back. I have to think about this one a little bit. And then release into a lunge here. Let's lower that back knee to the floor. Good. And again, I'm just going to start to roll from side to side a little bit. Just taking the hands a little bit wider to kind of catch myself. Nice. Keep that front foot, heel on the ground. Again, it's always to stabilize the knee. And I'm just shifting from side to side to really get into the hips a little bit. Nice. And then come back to center and we'll take Ardha Hanumanasana. So again, hands can turn out. Good. And I'm just finding the extension of the front leg and then shifting the weight forward into a lunge. Shifting the weight back. Good. Into a half split. Draw into the belly. Inhale.
So you might come onto your fingertips, let the pelvis drop forward, but let the heart rise up. And then take it back. Really nice. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Take the hands to either side of that front foot. Pick up the back knee. Inhale, billow the back. And then if you can, step that right foot back, and we're going to come into our high plank position. Again, thumbs are pointing forward, fingers out, right? Shoulders right over the wrists. Inhale. See if you can think of a suction cup underneath the hands and the toes. And you're going to magnetize everything towards the belly and lift up. Good. And then back into downward facing dog. Woo. Take a deep breath in. You can work the abdominals in all kinds of ways, right? As well as the arms and the legs. Harnessing that abdominal, that metabolic energy. Exhale. 2 more breaths. One more breath. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, soften the knees. Walk, step, saunter the feet to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Step into the heels, draw into the belly, bow. Root to rise, arms to the sky. Good. Maybe you just stay down if that feels more appropriate to you. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up. Nice. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Good. Left foot forward, right leg back this time. Beautiful. Come into your lunge and lower that back knee to the floor. And again, I'm just going to take my hands a little bit wider and rock from side to side. Just feeling into, right, shifting the weight side to side, rolling the hips, the pelvis, helps to feel into different parts of the body. Good. It really kind of starts to get the movement, right? Fluid movement, movement of fluids through the body, the interstitium, the lymph. We'll get into vascular flow a little bit more later. Good. And come back to center, and then very gently shift your weight back. So you can walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. I like to kind of keep that support for the back body. Good, with hands right under the shoulders, right? Inhale to come forward into your lunge. Good, and let's take it back into a half split. You can peel the toes off the floor if that feels appropriate to you. Inhale. Good, pelvis tipping forward, but then step into that front heel. Imagine you're drawing the heel towards the hips or towards you as you lift the heart. That gives you a little bit more space in the front of the hips. Exhale, back. Good. Inhale, come forward. Place your hands. So again, fingers turned out slightly. And then extend that back leg. Lift and take that left leg back. Here's your high plank position. See if you can create that suction cup feeling underneath the palms. Fingers, toes, lifting, lifting, lifting. Good. And then take it back into downward facing dog. Good. Inhale. Again, I want to keep that lift from the elbow to the back of the armpit to the lower ribs. Right? So really refining the action in the lateral aspect, outer aspect of the body, the torso, and the outer upper arm. Let's take another couple breaths in downward dog. Good, deep breath in. And this time we're going to step the feet together in downward dog and take the right leg out behind you. So we're going to extend that right leg out behind. Again, see if you can keep the hips square to begin with. Back thigh rolling in. At some point, right, as you take the pelvis forward and extend the back leg, you might lift that lower heel away from the floor or not. And then we're going to bring that right knee through, right? So pick up the right knee and step it through. Pivot the back heel to the earth, bending that front knee. And we're going to interlace the fingers. So you might have a chair here, right, where the front foot is between the front legs of your chair. Good. The back toes are turned in slightly, heel out. Good. And dial into the front heel to draw that right hip back. The pelvis is tipping forward, but I'm not collapsing into the hip, right? Draw into the belly. And then see if, as my fingers interlace, right, come up towards the hip, I can make my way into Virabhadrasana 1. So again, this thigh is rotating open, but I'm going to try to roll the hip forward, pelvis tipping forward, not tripping, tipping forward, and then the navel, the rib cage, drawing back. Inhale, bring the hands to your rib cage and see if you can get a sense of lifting the rib cage up. So my thumbs are kind of folding right into the back. I'm kind of drawing those ribs in a little bit, opening to the front, and then just kind of take the gaze either up towards the sky. You can reach the arms towards the sky if you want to. This is just to get that lift through the side body as you soften through that front knee. One more deep breath in. Gaze reaches beyond the thumbs. Exhale. We're going to open to warrior 2. So take that left arm in front of you, gaze following the left hand. Good. Sweep it through your center. Good. And then open. So I'm going to keep this left hip rolling forward and rotate the torso. Yes. This allows this right inner thigh to reach towards the knee and then wrap around towards the hip, drawing into the belly, rotating open. Inhale, extend. Beautiful. Exhale, turn the toes in. Switch sides. Good. We're going to bend into that left knee, reach through the back arm, soften, take a deep breath in. So I'm actually having you gaze in the opposite direction of your warrior 2. Inner left thigh tracks towards the inner knee. Step into the heel as you draw that left thigh back towards the hip, which means that right hip's rolling forward. Navel ribcage draw in. Rotate the torso to your right. Reaching through the right arm, gazing through the right arm towards the right fingers. Breathe in. Beautiful. Exhale. Inhale, take that right arm, sweep it down through center. Good. Both arms can reach to the sky as you shift into Virabhadrasana 1. Breathe in, take that right hip, roll it forward, but keep that opening of the thigh, right? So the pelvis is rolling forward a little bit, the thigh rolling open. Good. Inhale, bring the hands to your rib cage. Lift the rib cage. Good. Exhale, rotate the ribs towards that front leg. And then see if you can keep lifting through the side body, lifting through the side body. Good. Maybe the head goes back a little bit. And then let's exhale, hands to the seat of the chair. Good. Or the floor, or your blocks. Good. Fingers pointing out. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale. Inhale. Oops. Good. Take it back to downward dog. Breathe in. So thumb stretching forward. I want to really pluck up on the outer arms. Or reach back through the outer hips. Find some breadth in the back body. Beautiful. So this time, stepping the feet together, take the right leg out behind you. So keep the leg dialed in. If you need to, lift the heel as you tip the pelvis a little forward to bring that leg a little higher, and then we're going to step through. Good. This time, bring that left knee, good, to the wrist. And we're going to slide the right leg back, so we're moving back into the hip. We're taking one-legged Ekapada Rajakapotasana, this one-legged pigeon. Good. Again, using the hands to support the namesake of the pose, right, as the heart is rising, as that leg is reaching back. Good. And then we're going to relax the back leg, and then just shift your weight side to side a little bit. Watch that front knee with your inner awareness. Just noticing what mobility you might have. Good, and then shift the weight forward onto the forearms, if that's possible. You might be using a chair, right? Take a deep breath in, navel to spine. Beautiful. If you feel like it, you can pick up the back foot. So I like to come up a little bit here and reach around with the same hand as the foot. Good, and just press the heel down towards the hip. This gives you the quad stretch. This is pretty intense, right? So again, noticing the sensations. Good. rolling a little bit if that feels appropriate. Just stay where you are, right? Staying, pausing, noticing what shows up in the moment, breathing into it. Right, this is the space within which our power lies to shift our response to what shows up. Just again, paraphrasing Viktor Frankl there. And then gently release. If you've got that leg folded, you can release. We're going to roll onto that left hip and slide that right leg a little forward. Right leg stays extended in front of the hip. Left thigh rolls open. Very nice. So you have a couple of options here. I think we'll start with our revolved Parivrtta Janushirshasana. So just kind of rotating the torso over to the left. Nice. The way I like to set this up is, so this right leg, right, is extended. I'm going to take that left foot flat to the floor. Right, so here's your little twist. Left foot, so instead of being open, left foot's now flat. And it allows me to tip the whole pelvis, right, over to this right leg. Torso still rotating over to the side. So I'm just going to keep that left foot flat, let the left sitting bone come up off the floor as I lean over my right leg. You can take the inside of the foot, you can take the outside of the foot, you can take the hand to the inside. Good, and keep building that rotation. Beautiful. This might be plenty for you, right? You might want to work with the knee slightly bent so that the inner thigh or the hamstrings aren't rebelling, right, against the pose, and drawing to the abdomen. And then as you exhale, see if you can, I'm going to walk the foot in a little bit closer to the midline and then roll to the outside blade of this left foot. Again, there's a sensation of everting the foot as the sole side of the foot rolls to the sky, and that left thigh reaches to the inner knee. This is Janu's knee, Shirshasana, head of the knee. So we're reaching the inner thigh towards the head of the knee. Wrap around and draw back towards the hip in your mind to support that rotation. If you want a little bit more stretch still, you take the arm overhead. Right? Otherwise, just keep the arm down. I like to kind of invite gravity to draw that left sitting bone down. The hip is really well integrated on that right side because of the way we set up the pose. And then just feeling that stretch to the whole left side of your body. You might really be getting into the iliopsoas here. Right, with the left thigh falling open. Take another deep breath in. Breathe into the sensation. Pause for a moment. Exhale, let it go. What can release? What can soften? And then take that left arm. Inhale to bring yourself all the way up to an upright position. Woo. That's pretty intense. Good. And then we're going to stretch that left leg out. Shake it out a little bit here. And bring the right foot in. We're going to switch sides. So again, left leg extends. I'm taking the toes up towards the ceiling. You can stretch if that will help to release the hamstrings a little bit. Nice. And then we're going to set up Parivrtta Janushirshasana is a twisting pose, right? So we're rotating the torso relative to the pelvis. And then I like to step this foot in. It's going to come into the midline, right? And I'm going to support that rotation of the torso over towards the right this time. Good. From here, see if you can reach the toes, reach the arm, watch the shoulder, reach the arm to the inside of the leg, right? And I want to keep building that rotation. So I can use my elbow against the inner thigh to feel my rotation. Very nice. Good. And then this right leg starts to roll open. Again, with some eversion through the foot. Keep finding that rotation to the right this time. Good. Maybe the arm comes up and alongside the temple. Maybe it doesn't. So my right sitting bone is not all the way down on the floor, but I'm inviting, you might have something, a bolster, a block underneath that right outer thigh if that feels appropriate. Good. Right, inhale. We're finding that sense of length, of space, of opening, of a lot of traction through this whole left side body. Here's the key. Bring the rib cage in a bit. Breathe in. Good. Exhale, draw into the belly. Find that rotation. And then use the breath to bring you up. So I'm going to use the arm. Inhale to come all the way up. Beautiful. Exhale. Very nice. And let's extend both legs again. Good. Take a deep breath in, shake it out, and you might rotate a little bit here. Reverse the roll. Anyone who's inclined to come into a little forward bend, you can come into Upavishta Konasana. And then we're going to very gently just bring the legs together here. We're going to roll all the way down to the floor. So breathe in, take your time. Set it up so that you can feel the sacrum releasing to the ground, right? The navel, the lower ribs retracting, maybe the toes come off the floor. Good. And then back, shoulders, head, bringing the thighs into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, hug thighs to chest. Good. And then taking the hands, I'm just placing the hands on top of the kneecaps. I'm going to rotate through the lower back. So imagine you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your knees. Very nice. And pause and reverse the direction of the roll. So I'm going to offer a couple of options here as we complete our practice. Really, this is going to be half baby pose, Ardha Balasana. So let's start by lowering that left foot to the floor. Good. We're going to start with right heel, outer heel on top of thigh. Inhale, draw the left knee back into the chest just to bring a little bit of a stretch into that right leg. It brings the right leg towards you. You're going to hold onto the outside of this right foot. Good. Hold on to, right, the external rotation in the hip, which means the knee is out, the foot is in. This is your pigeon pose. Left foot's going to release down towards the floor. We're going to take this right leg and just open up, right? Open the leg out to the side, keeping the knee bent at a 90-degree angle. So the knee is a little bit wider than the shoulder or the hip or the pelvis. And you're going to draw that right knee down to the outside of the rib cage, right? My elbow's on the outside of the leg. Good, or the shin. So a couple of options with this left leg. One is, this is going to get into iliopsoas, right, and inner groin and hip if you open up into a half bound angle pose with this other leg. And then the other option is to slide the leg straight out towards the front of your mat. Breathe in. Very nice. If you feel inclined to, you can stretch this right leg out as well, right? But that may be beyond the scope of this morning's practice. Take a deep breath in. If you would like to, we're now just going to take that right leg, bring it across the front of the body. And if this left leg is extended, you just dial the left little toe to the floor, bring that right leg across the body. Try to keep the shoulders on the ground. Here's your twist again, right? If this leg was in half bound angle, great. We're just going to keep the leg there and bring that right leg over. So nice stability, stabilizing pose. We'll stretch for that lower back. And if you'd like to, you can extend the leg. That works as well. Try not to let this right hip dial up. You want to really drop the hip to find that length through the whole right side of your body. Let's take a breath. Exhale. And inhale, come back to center. Good. Ground your feet, square your hips. Bring that left knee into the chest. Left heel to right thigh. So we're just switching sides. I have a little bit of support padding underneath my sacrum here. And we're going to bring the right knee in towards the right shoulder. Breathe in. Good. Take the left hand to the outside of that left foot. Everted. And then the right foot's going to come back down to the floor. We're going to open up this left leg. Just open it up. So you're going to feel the weight kind of shifting a little bit over towards that left hip, right? And then see if you can really anchor, ground,
that right side of the pelvis, that right side of the sacrum. Put the weight of the mind in the right side body as you press this left knee down towards the floor. And then the right leg can either roll open into half bound angle, or you're going to find extension through the hip. Maybe that right arm extends behind you or out to the side. Breathe in. Good, breathe out. Try not to pop the rib cage. If you have the option, this left leg can extend. It gives you a really nice sense of traction through the right side of the body, right? So again, just kind of feeling into your own body here. Breathe in. Nice, exhale. And then we're going to bring this left leg across the front of the body and over to the other side. So I'm going to just dial that right little toe to the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe that right knee is bent. Maybe the right leg is extended. Try to keep the shoulders on the floor. And again, the pelvis is tipping one direction. The rib cage is rotating in the other. You want to really draw into the center abdomen in order to mobilize the twisting muscles of the abdomen of the belly. Take another deep breath in. Exhale. And then bring that left foot to the floor, right foot to the floor. Very nice. If you'd like to, take your full happy baby pose, right? You can also take, I love Supta Baddha Konasana, where the soles of the feet come together. Interlace the fingers around the outsides of the feet and draw the heels in towards the hips. And then just kind of rock from side to side. This works really nicely as well. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nice. And if there's anything else you'd like to do before we set up for Shavasana, I'm going to lower the feet to the floor, roll my blanket up, place it right underneath the top of the hamstrings. And then I'm just kind of pulling up on the outer edges. So I'm kind of cradling the hips, the pelvis here. It's a really nice grounding posture for your spine, your central nervous system. Little toes releasing towards the earth-ish. Good. Palms can release, or hands can release to the floor, palms face up to the sky. And again, take the arms any distance away from the body that feels appropriate for you. You might even place one hand, I like the left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Close the eyes and just take these last few moments of your practice to rest, release, receive, restore. We get to once again pause. Notice what is showing up in the space of the pause. Send it some breath. Turn your attention towards it. What can soften? What can release? What can let go as you exhale? Again, please take the time that you need to continue to receive the benefits of your practice this morning, either staying in Shavasana or gently making your way to a seated position. I'm going to close out the practice with the Mangala mantra. This is our offering
right, of this work that we do, this internal work that we do we get to extend that into the relationships that we enter into as we move through the day and the week, right, and into the world. Shwasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahi mahishaha gobrach manyebhyah shubhamastu nityam luka samastaha sukhino bhavantu kale varstatu parjanyaha prithvivisasya shalani deshoyam shobarahito brahmana santu niravayaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all be well with this world. May we lead by keeping to the right path. May we honor and heal humanity, that all beings everywhere may be free from pain and suffering. May we know this earth to be sacred, that she may yield her fruit in abundance. May this world be free from exploitation and oppression, that the righteous may be free from hatred and fear. Peace. 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 Namaste, all.